Hi everyone, Flaming Footy here and welcome back to a new video on the channel. And today guys, here we are to continue my AFL 2023 3-game match reviews, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing the first 3 games from round 17 of the 2023 AFL season, and those games are Richmond vs Sydney, Western Bulldogs vs Collingwood, and Brisbane vs West Coast. Alright, so Thursday night was definitely an elimination final at the MCG. Elimination final in July, and it was Richmond that prevailed and keep their finals hopes alive with a big win over Sydney. Richmond 12-16-88 defeat Sydney 11-9-75. Richmond win by 13 in the end, but I mean, again, if you go to accuracy conversion, they did end up probably winning that area by, they did end up winning that area by way more. But yeah, they did win out of the middle as well. Richmond had the better side out of the middle. And this is what you'd assume to be Buddy Franklin's last game at the MCG. I think the Swans would need an absolute miracle from here if they were to make finals. I think they'd have to win every game, I reckon. Which I don't even know if that would be enough to get them in. So yeah, season done for Sydney, I reckon. It was come down to ladder position for them now. But anyway, though, that aside, they started the game off really well, and they were the better team for the first half. Richmond took a little while to get into gear, especially after conceding the first 2 goals, and then in the second quarter, it was 3-4. So, yeah, Sydney are up by 26 at one stage in the second quarter, and Richmond brought it back. Third quarter, Sydney was still the better team, and then in the last quarter, it was Richmond 1-4 in the end in that final term, which just got them over the line. And yeah, definitely disappointing effort here from Sydney, even though they only just lost. But yeah, they just couldn't quite hold on and were disappointing, missing a couple of really gettable opportunities as well. But talking about gettable opportunities, when it comes to that, Richmond did miss some gettable opportunities as well. So both sides did have their not so great moments in this one. But 126 fantasy for Goulden, 113 for Nankervis, 107 for Bolton, 103 for Florent. Goals behind, 3 goals for Heaney, 2 for Ross, Franklin, Graham, McInerney and Hayward. Great to see Franklin getting a couple of goals. Disposals, 31 for Bolton and Goulden, 30 for Florent, 29 for Taranto and Martin, 28 for Parker. Marks now, 10 for Florent, 8 for Vlosten, 7 for Franklin. Tackles, 7 for Rowbottom and Mills. Hit outs, 33 for Nankervis, 17 for Hickey, 16 for Miller, 15 for McLean, and 1 for McDonald. Team stats now inside 50s, plus 8 for the Tigers. We go to hit-outs where they won that area as well. Clearances 47-31, 19-7 centre clearances. I mean, that's just where Sydney said they got smashed out of the middle. Well, that does tell your story right there. They got brutally beaten in that area, 19-7 centre clearances and then 28-24 stoppage clearances as well in favour of Richmond. They won contested footy to Richmond despite the Swans winning uncontested footy. Marks inside 50 plus 4 for Richmond as well, and there's that 26-point lead I said a little bit about earlier. But Sydney did lead for most of the game, but in the end, it doesn't matter how long you lead for. All you need to be leading for is on that siren, and yeah, in the end, the Tigers, huge win by 13 points. Friday night saw quite a strange encounter at Marvel Stadium between the Dogs and the Pies. Huge Friday night game this one was going into it, and Collingwood obviously, I mean, look, they're just so good at the moment. The better of the sides come out by 12 points and win. So Western Bulldogs 11-11-77 defeated by Collingwood 13-11-89. Collingwood win by 12, and well, it was a bit further out than that, especially for Collingwood after they really just took momentum away from the Dogs who had momentum early. They were the better side for most of that first quarter, probably the first half of the first quarter, and then the second half of the first quarter, it was Collingwood that came back, and I mean, again, accuracy conversion, they kicked 1-4 in the first term compared to the Dogs 3-1. Then the second quarter, the Dogs continued on their merry way again, probably dominated the first half of the second quarter, before then Collingwood come back, they kicked the last 1-2 goals of the quarter. And then the third quarter, they come out and kick the next 1-3 goals. And then 1-3-4-5 combining with the fourth quarter after that as well to get themselves out to close to a 40-point margin in the final quarter. And then their goals are done. The Dogs kick the next 1-2-3-4. But in the end, it is not enough. And it is enough for Collingwood to walk away winners. Huge win this for the Pies. And it does show that even when things are close, they still prevail. We know against Adelaide, both occasions against Essendon and now against the Dogs. When things are close, they still prevail. They're still doing their things of last year. They still know how to win a close game. 118 fantasy for Quaynor, 116 for Daniel, 114 for Bontempelli and Josh Dacos, 113 for Noble, 112 for Nick Dacos, who I think in the second quarter was a little bit down on form. 99 for Waitman, 98 for DeGoey, goals behind, 4 goals for Norton, Waitman and Elliott, 3 goals for Johnson, 2 goals for Hugo Hagan and Nick Dacos. Disposals, 32 for Daniel, 29 for Bontempelli and Nick Dacos, 28 for Liberatore and Noble, 27 for Isaac Quaynor. 13 marks for Quaynor, 11 for Josh Dacos, 10 for Hugo Hagan and Howe, 9 for Richards and Noble, 8 for McRae. Tackles now, 8 for Bontempelli, 6 for Daniel and Nick Dacos, 35 hit-outs for Cameron, 30 for English, 9 for Lobb, 6 for Cox, 3 for Frampton. Team stats now, where it was +6 inside 50s to the Dogs. Strange to see Collingwood limited to 45 inside 50s for the game. That is weird, but they still did win. Clearances were relatively even. Centre and stoppage both really even. The Dogs did win contested footy, and the Magpies won uncontested footy. The Magpies smashed them in marks, so 93 to 124 and 14 to 20 marks inside 50 as well. They led for a little over half the game, did Collingwood, and yeah, in the end, 51 to 65 tackles as well. But look, huge win this. Absolutely massive win. They only just get there, though, by 12 points. In what a really interesting Friday night clash it was. Alright, now to Saturday, today's earlier game, and it was Brisbane versus West Coast at the Gabba, and Brisbane 16-20, 116 smashed West Coast 5-5-35. Brisbane win by 81, and look, you got to feel a little bit sorry for West Coast after a good performance last week, having to play Brisbane in one of the toughest places to play at the Gabba. You do have to feel sorry for them, but again, though, it was always going to have to happen eventually, and yeah, they were going to get smashed anyway, and it was going to be what sort of effort we saw, which they still played okay. They didn't get absolutely smashed out of the park like what they did against Sydney, but yeah, Brisbane, after that first quarter, just was slow and steady from there, but 7 goals to 2 in the opening term, 3 more for them in the second term, 3 more in the fourth, 3 more in the final term, so yeah, they were happy to go relatively slow and steady, but again, missed some gettable opportunities, 16 goals, 20 in the end, and West Coast, they were alright in the fourth quarter. They had a little patch where they were alright, but yeah, again, not a lot to say on West Coast due to the fact that Brisbane were just a better side, and it is very tough to play against the Lions at the Gabba, and yeah, if they do get a home final at the Gabba, watch out, because yeah, they're tough to beat there. They beat Richmond there, they smashed Richmond there by 81 a couple of weeks ago, I think it was 81, and then, yeah, smashing West Coast today as well. But 127 fancy for Neil, 127 for Gunston, 124 for Hunt, 118 for McCluggage, 116 for Duggan, 113 for Ashcroft, 111 for Hoff. West Coast, though, on the flip side, did actually defend quite well, though, I thought. 6 goals for Gunston, who was, yeah, back in the team, back in some form. 2 goals for Hipwood and McCluggage. Disposals now, 33 for Duggan, 32 for Neil, 29 for Lyons, 28 for Ashcroft. Marks now, Jaden Hunt 15, 14 for Hoff, 13 for Andrews, 9 for Witherden, McGovern and Duggan. Team stats now, tackles 7 for Ashcroft, tackles 7 for Ashcroft, 35, hit-outs for McInerney, 26 for Williams, 3 for Danaher, 2 for Allen, 2 for Allen and 2 for Jared Williams. Team stats now, where again Brisbane smashed West Coast in the inside 50, 62 to 29. And they won in centre clearances 14 to 7, stoppage clearances 25 to 18. They won both contested and uncontested footy, as you'd suspect. Marks inside 50, 23 to 6. They led for the whole game. They laid more tackles and tackles inside 50 as well. Really nice performance here from the Brisbane Lions. A big win by 81 points. Yes, they did miss some gettable opportunities, but on the flip side, West Coast were alright at defending as well. But look, it was always going to be tough for them after how good last week was to go and play Brisbane at the Gabba. And in the end, Brisbane get a nice win by 81 points. To the game, which is currently going on now at Giants Stadium, is currently the Giants by 7, 43 to 36. The Hawks are giving up a very good fight at the moment. It'll be interesting to see how they go in the second quarter. They've definitely been, it's definitely been their best performance as of late. We know a couple of poor games have happened against Gold Coast and Carlton, but this one though is definitely a better effort from the Hawks so far. But yeah, again, still got a fair way to go in this game, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that one pans out. Saturday night, 2 games. The bigger one will be the Saints and the Demons at Marvel. That's going to be a big game. Winner will go 4th. And at the moment, winner will go outright fourth as well. Well, winner will go and will stay outright fourth. So that is a big one. The Dogs missed their opportunity on Friday night. Tonight, there's definitely an opportunity for the winner of that game. And yeah, the winner will go outright fourth. Port Adelaide, Gold Coast the other game. Port Adelaide, again, they're just trying to keep on their winning streak going. So, and the Suns absolutely need a win. Sunday's footy action kicks off with Geelong and North of the GMHBA. Again, probably more dead rubber than anything, but then the last two games of the round are not dead rubber. They are big, huge games. Essendon and Adelaide being the bigger one, 8th versus 7th. This one is probably going to decide who gets the final spot out of these two sides, because I still do see Geelong making it, which, I mean, if Geelong lose this game, that would be headaches for them, but I still do see Geelong making it. I see the Dogs making it. But yeah, I reckon the loser of this game will potentially miss finals. And then Freo and Carlton as well. Loser probably doesn't make finals, 12th versus 15th. That'll be a big game as well. Now to the ladder. How are things shaping up? So we'll put on the live ladder. Should the Giants win, they'll go up into 9th. And yeah, of course it's going to be huge, as you'd think, unless it's a draw, the loser of Essendon and Adelaide will fall back down with this pack, especially if Freo get the job done as well. And if Gold Coast miraculously get the job done, they'll also jump up onto 32 points as well. So there's going to be a big chasing pack still emerging. And then you've obviously got the Cats and the Tigers as well. And then one of Freo and Carlton can still be part of that chasing pack. But yeah, there's going to be a bit of action up here as well going on. Adelaide and Essendon can jump. And then the Saints and Demons is going to be a big one as well. Collingwood still separating themselves. Port Adelaide, you think, would do so as well. And then Brisbane as well have also separated themselves. So that's going to wrap us up for today's 3-game match reviews. Of course, Giants, Hawks, Saints, D's, Port Adelaide, Gold Coast will be in the second one. And the third one will be the 3 Sunday games. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please do make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. See you guys in the next video on the channel. Thank you guys so much. And bye everyone. Flame Footy out.